Let me tell you about the moment that almost every man has lived through at least once. You're 6 months into something, maybe a year, and you're sitting alone one night, finally being honest with yourself, and you realize the signs were all there from the very beginning. The way she talked about every one of her exes like they were villains. The way she got cold and distant the second you set a boundary. The little flashes of contempt disguised as jokes. You saw all of it, early, and you ignored every single one, because back then you were too excited, too hopeful, too afraid of being alone to admit what your gut was already screaming at you. And here's the painful part. It's almost never the red flags themselves that destroy a man. It's the fact that he saw them, felt them, and talked himself out of them. He had the information. He just didn't have the courage to act on it. So tonight, I want to make sure that never happens to you again. Welcome back to the Connection Code. Today we're talking about the red flags men always ignore until it's too late. And just as importantly, the green flags that almost no one teaches you to look for. And I'll be honest with you up front. Some of what I say is going to challenge the way you've been choosing the women you date, because most men have it completely backwards. They chase the wrong signals and dismiss the right ones. But if you stay with me to the end, you're going to walk away able to read a person far more clearly than you ever could before. And that single skill can save you years of heartbreak. Let me start with the truth that reframes this entire conversation. A red flag is not about whether someone is a good or bad person. It's about whether their patterns are compatible with a healthy relationship. This matters because most men think spotting red flags means hunting for a villain. It doesn't. Plenty of people with serious red flags are kind, funny, charming, and wonderful in 100 ways. That's exactly what makes the flag so easy to ignore. You're not looking for a monster. You're looking for patterns that quietly predict pain. And the reason this is so hard is that early attraction literally blinds you to them. Here's what's actually happening in your brain. In the early stage of dating someone you're excited about, your mind floods with chemicals that researchers link to obsession and reward. Your judgment narrows. You start explaining away anything that threatens the fantasy. Psychologists call this the halo effect. When we find someone attractive, we unconsciously assume their good looks or charm mean their character is good too. So when a flag appears, your infatuated brain rushes in as her defense attorney. She was just having a bad day. Her ex probably deserved it. She didn't really mean it like that. You're not seeing her clearly. You're seeing the story you want to be true. And that's the trap. So let me show you the 3 biggest red flags men ignore, the ones that almost always end in pain. Red flag number 1 is how she treats people she doesn't need anything from. Watch how she speaks to the waiter, the cashier, the person who makes a small mistake serving her. A lot of men only pay attention to how she treats them, and early on she's on her best behavior with you because she wants you. But how she treats people who can do nothing for her, that's the real preview of how she'll treat you once the excitement fades and you become familiar. Contempt, rudeness, or cruelty toward lesser people isn't a personality quirk. It's a window into her heart, and one day, you will be on the receiving end of it. Red flag number 2 is the permanent victim. Listen closely to how she tells the story of her past. Was every ex a narcissist? Was every friend who left her toxic? Was every job she lost the fault of a horrible boss? Now, anyone can have a run of bad luck, and real victims absolutely exist. But when someone is the innocent victim in every single story they've ever lived, you're being shown something important. You're being shown that she takes responsibility for nothing, and that one day, you'll become the next villain in her story too. Pay attention not to who she blames, but to whether she ever, even once, says, yeah, that part was on me. The capacity for self-reflection is one of the most important things you can look for in a partner. Its total absence is a flashing red light. Red flag number 3 is how she responds when you set a boundary. This one reveals more than almost anything else, and it usually shows up early if you're paying attention. The first time you say no, the first time you can't drop everything for her, the first time you express a need of your own, watch what happens. Does she respect it, even if she's a little disappointed? Or does she punish you, guilt you, go cold, get explosive, or make you feel like a terrible person for having a limit? A partner who cannot tolerate your boundaries is telling you that in her world, your needs are an obstacle to be overcome, not a reality to be respected. And a relationship where you're not allowed to have boundaries isn't a relationship. It's a slow erasure of you. Now, here's where I need to stop you because I know what some men do with this information. They turn into paranoid detectives, treating every woman like a suspect, scanning for flaws, sabotaging good things before they start. That is just as destructive as ignoring the flags. The goal isn't fear. The goal is clear eyes and clear eyes see green just as well as they see red. So let's talk about what to actually move toward, because knowing what's good is just as important as knowing what's dangerous. Here are the 4 green flags that almost no one teaches you to value. Green flag number 1 is emotional consistency. This is the quiet, unsexy green flag that men chronically undervalue because we're wired to chase intensity. But intensity is not the same as love. The hot and cold woman who makes your heart race, who's adoring one day and distant the next, isn't giving you passion. She's giving you anxiety, and your brain is mislabeling it as chemistry. A truly healthy partner is consistent. You know who she's going to be when you wake up. She doesn't weaponize her moods. The peace of being with someone emotionally steady might feel boring at first if you're used to chaos, but that boring feeling is actually the feeling of safety. And safety is the soil that real love grows in. Green flag number 2 is that she's genuinely happy for you. Watch how she reacts when something good happens to you, when you get the promotion, hit a goal, win at something. Does her face light up with real joy for you? Or do you sense a flicker of competition, jealousy, or the need to one-up you? A partner who celebrates your wins as if they were her own is a partner who is on your team. So many people are secretly threatened by their partner's success. Finding someone whose first instinct is to be proud of you, not threatened by you, is rarer and more valuable than you realize. Hold on to that. Green flag number 3 is that she can repair after conflict. Here's a truth that will save you a lot of confusion. The health of a relationship is not measured by whether you fight. Every couple fights, it's measured by what happens afterward. A green flag partner, once things cool down, can come back to the table. She can say, I overreacted. She can listen to your side without it becoming a war. She wants to fix the disconnection, not win the battle. The Gottman relationship research found that the ability to repair after a rupture is one of the strongest predictors of whether a relationship survives. If she can fight and then reconnect, you have something durable. If every fight is a scorched earth event with no repair, you have a warning. Green flag number 4 is that her actions and her words match. This is the ultimate green flag, the one that quietly contains all the others. Pay less attention to what she says and far more attention to what she does. Anyone can say beautiful things in the honeymoon phase. The real question is whether her behavior backs them up over time. Does she show up when she says she will? Does she follow through? Is the person she claims to be the same person you actually experience day after day? When words and actions align, you're looking at integrity, and integrity is the bedrock everything else is built on. When they don't align, believe the actions every single time. Actions are the truth. Words are just the advertisement. So now you have the map. 3 red flags that predict pain, 4 green flags that predict peace. But knowing them means nothing if you don't have the one thing that ties it all together, and that's the courage to act on what you see. Because I'll tell you the real reason men ignore red flags. It's not that they can't see them, it's loneliness. It's the fear that if they walk away from this one, there won't be another. It's the sunk cost of months already invested. It's the fantasy of who she could be if only she changed. And every one of those fears whispers the same thing. Just ignore it, don't rock the boat. Maybe it'll get better. But it almost never gets better, because a red flag isn't a mood, it's a pattern. And patterns don't disappear because you love someone hard enough. So here's what I need you to understand before we close. Your standards are not arrogance. They are self-respect. Walking away from someone who shows you early that they cannot respect your boundaries or take responsibility or be consistent. That is not you being too picky. That is you valuing your own future. The most expensive mistake a man can make is not being alone. It's spending years of his one life with the wrong person because he was too afraid to trust what his own eyes were telling him. There's a line I think every man should tattoo on his memory. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Not the 10th time. Not after you've made every excuse. The first time. The signs are almost always there at the beginning. Quiet, but honest. The skill is not in seeing them, it's in having the courage to honor them. Choose with clear eyes, move toward the green, respect the red, and refuse to abandon yourself just because you're afraid of being alone. Because the right person will never require you to ignore your own gut to keep them. If this video opened your eyes, hit like and subscribe so you and the connection code can keep decoding the real psychology behind love and connection together. And if you've got a friend who keeps ignoring obvious red flags, send him this video before he learns the hard way. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one.